We've been told all our lives that we need to face, confront, and defeat our fears. But what if I told you that the key to mastering your own fear is in doing the exact opposite? Let me tell you a story about a little princess and her dragon of fear, and through it discover together that our fears are in fact the door to the depths of our soul, to our healing and our freedom. Let's talk about the connection between fear and our emotional wounds and pain, and together find reconciliation with our own dragon of fear. So please subscribe to our channel and join me. Let's talk about mental health. I'm gonna start telling you a story. It sounds very stupid, unpredictable, but I promise it's not. If you hang in there, I promise it's gonna be worth it. So, once upon a time, there was a little princess who lived in a tower. And she sat by the window and saw the days and nights go by, and she was there. She was trapped there. And every time she wanted to exit, every time she wanted to go out, she would open the door, and then there was this giant dragon of fear. And it would say, "Princess, go back into your chambers. You are not to leave your chambers." That's the voice of the dragon. Anyway, so it said, "Someone who really loves you, put me here to make sure I keep you safe." And so the princess didn't even need a lock to be kept inside because the dragon was so frightening. But anyway, one day the princess was so done with it. She was so done that she opened the door and turned the light on, and she was like, "Dragon, I can't take it anymore." And when she turned the light on, she was like, "Oh my goodness, you are my dragon? I mean, you're more like a lizard." Wow. I'm not a lizard. I'm a dragon of fear. "Well, dragon, I'm done. See you later. Bye." And she basically just leaves the dragon and goes out of the tower. And the moment she goes out of the tower, she bounces back. And she's like, "Why can't I leave? Why can't I leave? I don't understand." And then something in her mind tells her, "Princess, you can't leave because you cannot leave the dragon. Even if you don't like it, even if it's big or it looks like a lizard, it's yours. You can't leave him behind." So the princess was like, okay, well, you're coming with me because I'm not staying here anymore." And the dragon was like, no, princess, I don't think we should go out. It's really dangerous out there. And it's scary, and there's so many things that could go wrong. And the princess said, "Dragon, you're coming with me. Let's go." And she grabs him and pushes him out the door. And in the moment the dragon's out, he's like, oh, princess. And then he opens the door, opens its side, and it says, "Whoa, princess, it's actually really nice out here. I didn't expect it to be this way. See, dragon, I told you, it's not that bad. Come on, let's go." And the little princess gets out her notebook and says, "So, in 5 months is gonna be my birthday. And by then, dragon, you better not stop me. You'd better not slow me down. By then, we should be already in the land of the free. Because that's where I'm gonna find myself, and that's where I'm gonna live my best life, and I'm gonna live life to its fullest." And the dragon says, yes. Anyway, 5 months passed. It's the birthday of the little princess, and the dragon seems really sad and comes and says, "Hi, princess, I got you this present." It was a little flower. And the princess said, "Oh, thank you, dragon. Actually, happy birthday to you too." And the dragon's like, what do you mean, happy birthday to me? Dragon, you've been with me since I was born. You were actually born in the day I was born. I remember exactly the moment that I came out, and boom, and I was scared, and that moment, like the light, and it felt so different, and boom, all of a sudden you were there. And you've been with me all my life. "Oh, I have, haven't I? Oh, happy birthday to me too." And then the dragon was really sad. "Well, princess, I just want to apologize because I know you said by your birthday you wanted to be in the land of the free, and we're not even halfway through. I'm so sorry. I'm such a burden. I just keep slowing you down." And the princess, for the first time, the princess looks at him and says, "Dragon, I've never thanked you, have I? I've never actually thanked you." "Thank me for what, princess?" "Well, you remember that day when I just got out and was so excited, and I saw the water and there was a beautiful lake, and I just wanted to jump, and I went, and in the moment I was gonna jump, you said, "Princess," with your scary, I don't even know how you do that, but, and I was so scared, and then I didn't do it, and there were crocodiles there, there were crocodiles, and that other time, when I saw that amazing waterfall far away, and I just started running, and then you said, "Princess," and once again I stopped, I froze, and there was a huge risk, and I didn't even see it. I would have fallen. Well, I never thought about it, Princess, but thank you. Well, Dragon, actually, you're not such a burden after all. For the first time I realized that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be here. So far the story is pretty predictable. I'm gonna pause it right there, and I'm gonna come back to the story, and trust me, it's gonna be worth it. But there's something I want to tell you about fear. And I want to talk about fear as if it was a dragon, the dragon of fear. And I'll tell you something about fear. I'll tell you something about humans. Because humans, we are very forgetful. I think in another of my videos I talked about how good we are in deceiving ourselves, because we are experts in that. We are experts in telling ourselves that things aren't what we think, what they really are. We are really experts in forgetting our pain. It's like we leave something, it's traumatizing, something, and then we just put it under the rug. That's what we do. We just put it under the rug or hide it somewhere and pretend it never happened and just forget about it. But I'll tell you something about dragons of fear though. The difference between dragons of fear and humans is that dragons of fear have the best memory. You might not remember a lot of things, but I'll tell you something. Your dragon of fears remembers absolutely everything. And I'll tell you something else about dragons of fear. Dragons of fear really love you. Really love you so much that your dragon is willing to play devil's advocate just to keep you safe. And something else about dragons is dragons actually like the fact that humans don't remember. Because remember I told you that moment when the dragon said, Princess, someone who truly loves you put me here in this tower to keep you safe. What the princess didn't know was that the person who asked the dragon to put her there and keep her safe was herself, and she was younger. And so back a little bit in that story, and this is not a story about a princess, this is a story about you. So there was this moment in your life when something happened, and I don't know what it was, but if you're watching this, it's very likely that something happened. And I have a good friend who I adore, and she's amazing, and she's strong, and she's brave and courageous, but she has a phobia. She's afraid of turtles. And I want to talk about this because you might think, turtles? Who's afraid of turtles? No one's afraid of turtles. Turtles are so cute. And they are harmless. But she's really afraid of turtles. And you might think, why? Why would anybody be afraid of turtles? And I'll tell you something. You may know it or not. You may remember it or not. But we all have our turtles. And you may think that they are the scariest thing in the world, and sometimes we don't even understand our fear. We don't even understand why something paralyzes us, why something makes us freeze, why something stops us. We don't even understand it. But I'll tell you something about fear. Fear remembers really well. And it's not about the turtle, really. It's not about whatever maybe is giving you fear. There's something underneath. Usually under our fear, there's pain. There is a wound. And I want to tell you something about your dragon of fear. Your dragon of fear knows a lot of things that maybe you don't. Your dragon of fear is actually connected to your unconscious mind. And it has access to a lot of memories that you don't. And maybe something happened in your life. Maybe it was that moment when maybe you were at your house and maybe you saw your parents shouting and maybe you were afraid. Maybe you were behind the door and you thought you were alone, but you were not alone. There was your dragon of fear there. And you said, Dragon, please keep me safe. Please keep me safe. And dragon just got you with a lot of love and took you far away and locked you in a cage because he thought that, my dragon is a she, thought that that's what was better for you. And you forgot. Because we forget. what hurts us. A lot of times we put our pain under the rug, we close it out because it hurts, and it's a way to survive, it's a coping mechanism. But I'll tell you, dragons remember. And they went through everything with us. And you might think like this person is like paranoid talking about dragons. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's not real, but it's a metaphor. And I want to tell you something about your dragon of fear. Your dragon of fear has heard every single word that you don't remember. Every single word if you've been bullied. I was bullied by professors. I was bullied by professors and I didn't even remember it. Throughout my childhood, something interesting is I could never cry. I fell down, I broke my arm, I didn't cry. I've hurt myself in every way possible and I wouldn't cry. And I never knew why, but I'll tell you who did. My dragon of fear. And a lot of times we go through life and we have all these turtles, all these things we are afraid of. And I'll tell you something that it's not helping us. Because society tells you, you have to face your fear. You have to control your fear. You have to conquer your fear. You have to master your fear. You have to defeat your fear. And I'll tell you, that's not what you need. That's not at all what you need. That's why I'm talking about a dragon of fear, because maybe that way you can grasp it. We go all our life trying to defeat our fears, trying to face our fears and confront them and control them and master them and defeat them. And the thing is, though, that our fears is a part of us. And once again, I go back to what we've been told about emotions. We learn to fragment ourselves. We learn that there are some good emotions, some bad emotions, some positive emotions, some negative emotions. And those emotions that we think are negative, like fear, we just resist it, and that fragments us. And we're not even aware to what degree it dehumanizes us and it fragments us. It makes us live divided. Because we think fear is something external. We think fear is our enemy. And I'm here to tell you, your dragon has never been the enemy. Your dragon is being willing to play devil's advocate for you. It's willing for you to hate him or her. It's willing for you to live all your life thinking that that's the enemy. But that's not the enemy. The enemy is the wound that caused there to be a dragon in the first place. The enemy is whatever is underneath. Because I'll tell you something about fear. Under fear, there is pain. If you are afraid, underneath that, there is a wound. And you may think, I have no idea why I'm afraid of turtles. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of times we don't understand why we're afraid. And maybe turtles seem stupid, but what about love? I don't know why I'm afraid of falling in love. I don't know why I'm afraid of trusting. I don't know why every time I'm about to be successful, boom, self-sabotaging. Why am I afraid of happiness? Why am I afraid of this? And it becomes more and more and more abstract. And we keep telling ourselves, that's the enemy, but that's not the enemy. And I'm here to tell you, if that is you, if you're fighting your fear and if you're forcing yourself, because we push ourselves, we are so disconnected with ourselves that we actually push ourselves. Because we're not aware that under that fear, there is a wound. But I'll tell you something about dragons of fear, is that they remember every single word that has been told to you throughout your life. And they have all these beliefs. The thing about them is that they have all these beliefs of what people has told you. Maybe they told you you're stupid. Maybe they told you you're not good enough. Maybe they told you all these things that gave you an image of you that is not real. But dragons, they don't want you to remember. They don't want you to suffer. So they would rather you not suffer and keep you afraid and keep you in a tower because they love you, not because they hate you. Because they love you, they don't want you to hurt. And they would rather you ignoring and not seeing the pain and not seeing what lies underneath the fear and not seeing the wound. Because coming back to that story, I'm going to play it again. And the princess tells the dragon, thank you so much for helping me. Now, I wonder why I've been afraid of all these things. And the dragon says, no, princess, you really don't want to know. You shouldn't remember those things. Being afraid of a risk or water or something, but there's a reason you were put in that tower, princess. And right now you don't remember, and I don't want you to remember it, because I don't think you can take it. I don't think you can take it. And I go back to Carl Jung saying, whoever looks outside himself dreams, and whoever looks inside himself wakes up. Do you want to know what your dragon of fear really needs to subside? Not for you to defeat it, because that's not the enemy. It needs you to open your eyes and see the pain that's underneath. And sometimes your dragon thinks you cannot take it. You cannot take the memories, but I'll tell you something. My dragon needed to cry. My dragon needed me to cry those tears that I couldn't. Sorry. This is actually very personal for me and I've been putting it off doing this video. My dragon of fear needed me to cry the tears that I didn't cry when I was a little girl. My dragon of fear needed me to remember why I locked myself in that cage. My dragon of fear needed me to know why I needed to be in that place, because the world was dangerous to me. And on the day I dared to see the truth, it was really painful. And on the day I started crying, I couldn't stop for a long time. But I'll tell you something that I learned. After I cried a lot, and after I met again my amazing therapist who's incredible, and she actually let me see myself differently. Not through what my dragon of fear remembered, but through a different eyes. Then things changed. But first I needed to face my own pain and face my own suffering, because if you are afraid, it's very likely, listen to me, and this is not what you want to hear, but this is the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the way out. I'm really telling you the way out of your fear and your phobia. If you are afraid, it is very likely you need to cry too. If there is fear, it is very, very likely that underneath that fear there's something that hurts you so much that you lock yourself out. But on the day I dared to see the pain, and I dared to see myself, I went back with my dragon. And I told my dragon, remember those dreams that I had? Remember those dreams that I had that decided not to chase because we thought we couldn't make it, because that's what we told us. That's what they told us. And I didn't even remember that, but you remembered it. So you made me be afraid of my fear, of my dreams, and I didn't pursue them. And my dragon would be like, princess, you're not supposed to remember any of this, you know. You've been crying so much. It's okay, dragon. It's okay. I needed to cry. But come with me. Remember the dream I had? I had a dream. My dream was to be a neuroscientist. And I left it because my dragon of fear kept telling me I should be in a tower, and it didn't tell me why. It just put me there. And every time I wanted to chase my dream, I would self-sabotage and I would make sure I didn't do it. And I ended up doing something that was completely different. And then you end up feeling mediocre and sad and angry at life. But if that's you, I want to tell you, you can change it. Your life, it's not too late. It's not too late to be happy. If you're depressed because you're afraid, because your life frightens you, I want to tell you, it's not too late for you. The only thing you need to do is bring your dragon of fear to the mirror. And on the day I understood that, I brought him to the mirror, her, and I told her, dragon, what do you see? And dragon said, I see ADHD. And I said, look again, dragon. What do you see? Karla, I see ADHD. We cannot make it because we have ADHD. And I said, look again, dragon. What do you see? Look again. And my dragon said, I see someone brilliant, I see someone smart, I see a beautiful mind that's brilliant and it's wasted. And then I brought my dragon, I told my dragon, dragon, what do you see? And my dragon said, I see someone codependent. And I said, dragon, look again. Look again. And my dragon said, we cannot go live to another country because we are codependent of our family. And if you had any family with addictions, you probably know what I'm talking about. Where you carry somebody else on your shoulders. And I told my dragon, look again. What do you see? I see someone self-sufficient. Emotionally, financially. And I told my dragon, dragon, what do you see, dragon, in that mirror? And he said, I see someone broken. I see a beautiful brain, but it's broken. I see a beautiful brain with a broken mind. I see somebody sick. I see somebody mentally ill, because that's what I was told I was. I was giving a diagnosis that wasn't even my diagnosis, and maybe that's your case too. And maybe you feel broken, and maybe you feel sad, and maybe you feel like there's no hope for you, because that's what happens. That's what happens when we're just humans. People, for our humanity, we're giving a diagnosis. And I said, look again. And look again. Because I dared to see the pain that was under my own fear. And I said, look again, dragon, what do you see? And my dragon said, I see strength. My dragon said, I see strength. I see a strong woman. I see a capable woman. I don't see a broken woman. I see a connected woman. I see an awake woman. And my dragon said, I see beauty. And I'll tell you something, if you're really hurting, if you feel an existential void, if you feel lonely, if you feel afraid, if life frightens you, if you're stuck, if in the mornings you can't find a reason to wake up, because everything seems fearful and you're just living in a tower and you don't even know why, I want to tell you, do not give up on life. Do not give up on life, regardless of how you feel. I'm finally ready to chase that dream. At my age, I'm finally ready. And I'll tell you something. You may not see it right now, but right here, next to me, there's a beautiful, beautiful dragon. Beautiful dragon sitting right here, telling me all the time all the things that are dangerous around me, trying to take care of me. But on the day I brought the dragon to that mirror, I said, dragon, do you think we can make it? After he had seen me in a different mirror, because she loves me, my dragon loves me. It never wanted me in a cage in the first place. It just kept me there because that's what she thought she needed to do to protect me. But on that day I said, dragon, do you think we can make it? And you know what my dragon said? No, Karla, I don't think we can make it. I know we can make it. Here I come back to what society tells us about fear, that we need to control it, that we need to defeat it. All this fragmentation is always us fighting against ourselves. Always, always, always. But I'll tell you something, that I'm chasing that dream. And I'll tell you something. I know I will make it. I know I will succeed. And if you ask me how do you know it, Karla? And you're already older. How do you know it? Because I have a huge, powerful, almighty dragon to fight on my side. Because I'll tell you something about dragons of fear that you may not know. If you stop fighting against your fears, if you stop trying to defeat them, if you stop trying to win the battle against your enemy, thinking the enemy is a fear, but if you actually sit with your fear and you cry the tears that your dragon actually needs you to cry, and you remember the things that your dragon doesn't think that you can take, if you open your eyes, if you do what Carl Jung said, if you stop dreaming by looking outside yourself, but you actually look inside yourself and wake up, and you decide to wake up, I'll tell you something, you can't fail. You can't fail because you will have an almighty, powerful, scary dragon of fear to fight on your side. Because on the day you stop fragmenting yourself, on the day you stop satanizing and you stop demonizing all your negative emotions and all these bad emotions, but you actually realize that it's actually just yourself. Everything that these fears that you think you need to defeat is not the enemy. That's not the enemy. If you actually dare to open your eyes and really see, go to your unconscious mind and say, dragon, what is it that I can't see? I'll tell you something. There's no way. There's no way. Listen to me. And then tell me your story. I want to hear your story of success. But there's no way. There's no way you won't be successful. Because you will always have your dragon on your side. Because that dragon, you may think that is your enemy. You may think that is a mistake of nature. It's not. But natural selection is very, very clear. If something doesn't serve us, evolutionarily speaking, it disappears. It just like wisdom teeth, you know, that now kids are not having them anymore because they don't need it, because they use knife and fork. Your fear is not your enemy. Your fear is not something that you need to defeat. It is a tool. It is an amazing, amazing tool. It is an incredible resource that if you learn to use it on your side, you can't, I promise you. I give you my word, regardless of how sad you are. And if you can't find a reason to leave, if you're at that place, I know what it is to be afraid of everything. And literally, I remember when I was school, I used to imagine that I was an ostrich. And I used to say, please, 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 just let me put my head in the dirt, just like an ostrich. And please stop the world for a little while, because I want to come down. Because everything about the world and everything about life was so painful and was so hard to endure and was so frightening. But if you're at that place and you cannot find a reason to leave, I'm going to say it again, and I'll say it as many times as I have to. There is a huge reason to leave, and the reason is you. And anything that's not allowing you to heal, that is not allowing you to live, it can be healed. What you actually need is to open your eyes. And it's just like turning the light. Just turning a light. And in the moment you're there to turn on the light and see things and cry. Because I'll tell you something. We are always told that being brave and being strong is to not cry. Now I'm strong. Back when I couldn't cry, I was very weak. But now I can cry. That's how I know I'm strong. It takes a lot of courage to cry the tears that we haven't been able to cry in our life. But if you want to go out of the matrix, if you want to live your best life, we are told by society that it is to face our fears, to confront our fears, to defeat our fears as if that is the enemy. That's not what you need to do to live your best life. What you need to do to live your best life is to stop and cry. Because that takes so much courage. That takes a lot of guts to dare to cry. But if you dare to not be afraid of the pain, to tell your dragon, it's okay. We can do this together. I can remember, and I will survive. It's not gonna kill me. I promise you that in the moment you stop fighting against your enemy and you start seeing it as what it really is, a resource, a part of you, a beautiful, beautiful part of you, nothing will be able to stop you. I know what I'm saying is not easy. I know what I'm saying is not easy, but I'm telling you, you're strong enough. You can make it out. You can find a life that's fulfilling. You can be self-sufficient, self-sufficiently emotionally, financially, in every aspect. On the day you stop fighting and thinking that is the enemy, but you talk to it kindly, you have a dialogue and compassionately approach your fear. I don't stop facing your fear and confronting your fear and defeating your fear. Start compassionately approaching your fear. I promise to you, life is worthwhile. There is a huge reason to live, and the reason is you, your beautiful self. You're more than enough. And if you don't believe me, when I tell you you're more than enough, it's because your dragon of fear has been told some very, very painful lies, but I promise to you, it's gonna be worth it. Whoever looks outside themselves dreams. Whoever looks inside wakes up. You can do it. You can do it. I'm here for you. If you want to write to me, write to me. I'm here for you. I am. I've been there. I'm talking about mental illness in the first place because I was there. As bad as it sounds. Everybody's embarrassed of saying I was mentally ill at some point. My mental health was not the best, but I'm not embarrassed to say it, if that helps you. If you have been wondering if life gets better, I'm telling you, it gets better. It might hurt before a little. You might go through some time of pain, but if you take the chance and you do it, there's a lot of wonderful people, like my therapist, a lot of wonderful people who can guide you through that process. You don't have to do it alone. Don't do it alone. Don't be quiet. If you're depressed, if you're sad, please talk to somebody. It's not easy compassionately approaching your fears, but I give you my word. I give you my word that on the other side, you will make it out. You give me a call. You write to me. I'm here. There is the comments there. Write to me. I'll go through it with you. But I give you my word that on the other side, life gets better. And what awaits for you? It's much better than anything you've dreamed of. I give you my word, life gets better. Thank you, and I want to ask you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, because by subscribing, sharing, liking, you're actually supporting me to do what I want to do with my life, which is understand the mind, understand emotional pain, and most importantly, talk about mental illness and talk about mental health in the first person. Not from a position of power of an expert, but somebody who went through it. And that is the movement that I'm trying to create. And I need you to join me. I need you to start talking about mental illness and mental health in the first person, because if we don't do that, nothing is going to change. These frightening statistics of suicide killing more people than war and homicide together is going to continue. But if you will join me in talking about mental health in the first place, I am sure that together we can humanize mental health and we can change the world. We can change the world. We can make that statistic be something from the past. So please join me. Let's talk about mental health. Thank you.